So this is not what you would think of as like a traditional horror game. But just get yourself in the right mindset for this one. You are a lone operator at this missile defense base, and you're defending California or whatever state or country that you live in. And they're just nuclear warheads raining down on the last six cities in your entire world, as far as you know. And you just can't stop them. You're just trying to do your best to hold them off as long as you can. And there's just nothing you can do but just keep trying to keep your people alive. It's just one of those crazy, crazy things that you just really need to get in the right mindset to see this as like the real horror game that it actually is. It just, oh god, I love Missile Command so much. For such a simple game, it's so crazy to think about. So the best way to do this is let's turn the lights down low, lower than we have right now, and just play some Missile Command.
Now, Missile Command was one of the original Atari arcade games that got ported over to the 2600. This one had a really unique control scheme for the time, especially since trackballs really weren't used. I believe the first one was actually Atari Football, and for this game it works out really well, just because you have to move your cursor around the screen, and the trackball works very, very, very well. Unfortunately, I'm not playing it on the arcade, I was playing it on the 2600. And there is a trackball controller for the 2600, which I unfortunately don't have, so I had to try to use the joystick. It's not the best way to play the game. Also, from the arcade port, the other controls got simplified, where you had 3 buttons that each controlled a separate missile launcher, so you had 3 sets of actual missiles, kind of making you sort of work on like resource management and that sort of thing. That all got simplified with the 2600 because you only have 1 button. It works pretty well. It gives you the same sort of feeling as the arcade game did, but the graphics are lacking and the controls are a little bit crappy. Now, you have to defend these 6 cities, and you have a limited amount of ammunition. I never really ran out of ammo, but I could see if you just go crazy, it might work out pretty well, and you might run out of stuff in the short term. Now, the missiles are going to speed up as you go along, and it gets super, super hard, especially trying to move everything around. With your joystick, it's kind of a miserable experience, but it gets the job done, to be honest with you. Now, like I said, this is a totally unwinnable situation. You are not going to be able to beat this game, because it was just made that way. There is a kill screen in the game, I believe. I am definitely not good enough to reach it. And there's also an Easter egg. I believe if you make it to, I think it's like level 12 or 13, then you'll get to see the initials of the person who made the game, or you'll see, I think it's just the initials in this one. It's one of the few Easter eggs that was added in. Now, for such a simple game, it has a really complex story to go along with it. And if you get a chance to read the story of the guy that made the game, it's best told in the book 8-Bit Apocalypse, The Untold Story of Atari's Missile Command. It's absolutely insane just how much he was really driven to make this game. And also just the fact that the way arcade games were made by Atari back in the day, where they were just given a concept and be like, here you go ahead and make this. And they just had to run with it. This game is one that still holds up. It's still a lot of fun, and it's kind of a shame that Atari never really did follow-ups with it or really capitalized on its success.
So today, the threat of nuclear war isn't as big of a deal as it was back in the 80s, but back then, it really, really was a big deal. It sort of permeated everything back in the 80s. Especially for people that weren't kids, like the sort of adults and everything like that. Much like this game, it sort of just grabbed onto like a fear and like an ever-present thing in society. It's a really cool concept, and this is a really great game to sort of grab onto the fear that you had back then. It still holds up today. I'm still going to say that it still holds up today. You can experience it in a whole bunch of different ways. So you don't need to find, especially the 2600 one, which I don't really recommend that version. I would try to find the arcade or try to find one of the clones out there that works better on like a PC. So anyway, guys, I will talk to you next time. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a great day, everyone.